Today, we're comparing the 2026 Genesis GV70. I have the Capri 3.5T Sports Prestige all-wheel drive versus the 2.5 in Ultra White, both with vanilla beige obsidian interior. We're gonna see if 75 horsepower more is really worth that extra price, or should you just go into the luxury with the refresh GV70. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and looking at the front, you could already see the refresh. On the 2.5T, you're gonna get a standard of 6.7 inches of clearance. It's gonna have a little bit more of a chrome front fascia with the MLA LED headlights at daytime runnings, all new for the 26 variant. The lower keeps the chrome highlights, but housed underneath the hood also changes the configuration and the suspension, so it's not just aesthetics. Going into the 3.5T, you can already see how more sporty it looks, especially because this is a Sport Prestige, the top of the line. Both are gonna be standard with all-wheel drive. Smoked out chrome for the enlarged grille, and the lower grille will keep the matte black, but there isn't any chrome to be found, so I kinda like this route a little bit better, especially if I'm looking for the sport and luxury blend, because housed underneath the hood of the 3.5T, it's not a single turbo. This is a twin turbo V6. It's producing 375 horsepower at 391 pound-feet of torque. Now, yes, you're gonna sacrifice a little bit with MPGs, but 18 MPGs for the city, 25 MPGs for the highway. We're only getting 2 and 3 MPGs more going into this 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that's producing 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. They're both paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, but when you go into the 3.5T Sport Prestige, this is the only way you can get the electronic locking rear differential. And when you go Sport Prestige, you automatically get these 21-inch wheels, black brake calipers. Going into the base trim is gonna be a 19-inch wheel. But when you go into the Sport Prestige on the 2.5, you can still get the 21-inch wheels. You're just not being able to get the same suspension. You will be able to tow 3,500 pounds, which is the same as the 3.5T. So really the only benefit that you're getting is speed and aesthetics, which you can get almost everything on the 2.5T, and you'll save maybe $5,000 to $6,000. And for me, if I'm looking for just the luxury, I'm gonna get better fuel economy and I'm getting the same capabilities, I hate to say it, I would probably go to the 2.5 turbo. But I'm more of a performance person, as most people know, so I would more than likely click the box to the 3.5 twin turbo V6, because I also like the aesthetics on the exterior, because the lower, you're not going to get any dual exhaust that's exposed when you go into this 2.5T. You're going to get that on the 3.5T. The rear, all of them are going to come standard with LED tail lights, 360-degree reverse camera, blind spot view monitoring, smart park, and smart tailgate, or where you walk up and the tailgate will open up for you. That goes onto the Sport Prestige trims. When you go into the base, you're only going to have a reverse camera. So you are going to be losing some of those updates also, but you can still get that in the 2.5T. Let us know which way you would go in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button, click the like. The more clicks help with the algorithm, so that way we can bring more vehicles and compare its vehicles to the channel. Since both are going to be the same cargo capacity at 28.9 cubic feet, we're going to just showcase one, but I am going to show you something that is different on the 3.5T Sport Prestige here in just a second. You have a 12-volt charger underneath the floor, gets a spare tire, and you get a little bit of storage capacity. And from back to front, you have about 38 inches. Now, this is more of a coupe design, so what that means is you're gonna have about 28 inches from the opening here, but then it's going to taper off to about 20, maybe 19 and a half inches that way. Inside the wheel wells, you're gonna have about 52 and a half inches, and between the wheel wells, about 40 and a half inches. Now, Genesis does it right, because you can split fold the rear bench in the back by pulling these tabs here, and that's gonna maximize the cargo to 56.9 cubic feet of storage. And when you go up to the Sport Prestige trim, key fob, not touching it. You're seeing it's already acknowledged that I'm walking by the vehicle. When you get to about this point, you stop. It's gonna auto open for you. The key fob to the 2.5T Genesis GV70. 12-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 8-way power seat adjustment for the passenger. Heated seats is standard. You have to go up a trim to get the ventilated seats and leather seats. This is a leatherette seat. You still get the perforated and the contrast stitch and the contrast piping. standard 9 speakers with 16 speakers through Bang & Olufsen sound system. When you go up a trim, ambient lighting, check out the leg space that I have. Even though it's a driver focused setup, they do a good job with this panel because it's not curved. It's a little bit more straight oriented, so it makes it easier for the passenger. And for somebody that's at 6'3", I got about 5 to 6 inches, maybe even 7 inches of leg space, and the footwell is deep. But you do not get a standard wireless charging pad. You don't get a standard panel moonroof. Let's fire it up. No heads-up display, but we get this enlarged 27-inch OLED screen configuration with wireless connectivity. That means your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM streaming, Bluetooth audio. And when you put into reverse, you don't get a 360-degree reverse camera standard. You just get a reverse camera. You can use this little sub-menu to make it easier for making it more wide for the screen. Dual climate control settings is standard. This has all been updated, so I do like the way it is set up. Just with this air vent, I kind of wish that they put it maybe over here, only because it's somewhat more tilted towards the driver. So even if I tilt it this way, it's hitting me more so than it's actually hitting the passenger. Glossy black is going to be the interior highlight, and these areas here have also been reworked with the driving mode select, auto hold, and you can turn that auto start stop off. I like where the driving mode select is because look how quick you can change everything here. It will change out the tachometer and odometer as well, so it makes it look a little bit more sporty in sport mode. With a wrap steering wheel, it's multi-function. This is also all new with the paddle shifts. This is for the adaptive cruise control lane keeping assist. And check out the leg space that you get on the driver's side. I mean, I'm still getting about 7 to 8 inches on both sides. In headroom without the panel moonroof, I still probably have a good 5 inches, but you can let me know in the comments what you see. LED interior lights. This is soft to touch and it opens up into a medium-sized storage pocket. You get a 12-volt, 2 USB ports, and a little storage tray right there. Door panel and dash, it configures it together nicely, and I like that they keep it simplified. So you get the satin aluminum here and it keeps it looking sporty. That's the key to this vehicle, because you still want it to look sporty even though it's more luxurious. This is plastic, so that's definitely a con to me. Satin aluminum for the grab handle, one touch up and down for all the windows, and you get that glossy black yet again on the door. It's going to be a little bit more soft, and a medium-sized storage pocket with the beverage holder carved out. The 2.5T, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more with the cup holders and armrest down. 2 USB-C ports. You get a little tray of storage, air vents, storage net behind both of the front seats, and the door card is going to be the same as the front, and it keeps that styling, so it literally goes from the back to the front, wrapping all around with that ambient lighting. It's going to be a little bit more sporty, and you have a smaller storage pocket, but you can still fit a beverage. Sitting behind me, the seats are carved out, so that's definitely something that's welcome. As for knee space, I have maybe ½ an inch. But the nice thing about these seats is you can recline them back. So this is the way they're sitting normal. Look how far you can recline them back. And that's going to give me a substantial amount of difference in headroom. And you can tell me the dimensions in the comments, opposed to sitting upright. Sliding into the center, unfortunately, there isn't really any knee space because it's carved out only for the occupants on the side. So I'm going to be blocking the air vents. Sharing feet, butt, leg, and shoulder space. 17 inches of space. And if you had to put me in the center, maybe I got an inch or 2, but you can let me know in the comments. The key fob to the 3.5 Sport Prestige GV70. We're gonna lock the door and auto start the car because I want to show you a trick. You'll see the lights flicker, the car turned on. We got the key fob to this side. Now we're gonna just simply move the vehicle forward and backwards. Now you might say, why do you need this feature? Well, if you are in a tight parking because someone parked too close to you at a grocery store, or you got a 1-car garage, or for whatever reason it's just tight, it makes it easier to move in and out. And you can always play pranks on your friends saying, you know what, somebody stole my vehicle. Unfortunately, you do have to be around 10 to 15 feet for this feature to work. Going inside, the 16-way power seat adjustment, heated, ventilated front seats, ergo motion seat for the driver, which is basically a massage seat. But you're not getting the 16-way power seat there. You're only getting 12-way power seat adjustment, memory for the driver. 16 speakers through Bang & Olufsen sound system. It's a driver focused setup, and with the seat adjusted forward, I only have about 2 to 3 inches, but you can adjust these seats a little bit more so. The footwell is actually pretty large, carbon fiber, and this is actually tilted towards the driver. So I like how they kind of made it a sport drive, but yet keeping it luxury with a flat 27-inch OLED screen configuration. Let's fire it up. Try climate control settings. This is a new touchpad. Driver mode select here with the auto hold. And you have wireless connectivity with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio. And when you go Sport Prestige, you're going to get that 360-degree reverse camera. And on the gauge cluster, everything is censored. When you're going underneath these trims, you only get front and rear parking sensors. So that is something to take in consideration there. The trajectory does expand for the front and the rear, and you can also change into a 3D view. So you could go all around the vehicle. You could zoom out and you can zoom in. When you click onto here, you'll have a sub menu, so you can zoom in for the tow, you could do side by side, and you could do the full reverse. You can do the same thing with this new sub menu going forward, which is a front, kind of like a car wash view, and you could do side to side as well as just the whole front. So I like how they made it very intuitive and easy, except you have to use a lot of the configuration on the screen to change the screen layout for the gauge cluster, but you still got physical buttons here, which is definitely a pro. The gauge cluster is a digital reader. We have a new finger recognition on the new steering wheel. It's multi-function. We get the paddle shifts, leather wrapped, it's heated, and you have the sensor right here for your adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and all that good stuff there. You change the driving mode select, it will also change out the layout of the gauge cluster. So I think that is pretty nice. With a heads-up display, auto-dimming rear view mirror, you get the HomeLink LED interior lighting, a large panel moonroof with the micro suede headliner. Soft to touch with the wireless charging pad right here, and it'll show you the gauges that it's charging, and when it's fully charged, it's going to have all those illuminated, opening up into a medium-sized storage pocket with the 12-volt 2 USB ports, and you get a little storage tray. You'll have sport pedals because this is the Sport Prestige trim. Leg space, I have at least 5 to 6 inches on both sides, so it's more than generous. As for headroom, with a moonroof, I would say I got at least 3 or 4 inches, but you can let me know in the comments. Door card and dashboard. It configures it together nicely with the orange contrast stitch, giving us orange seat belts, giving more orange here, and it's soft to touch, one touch up and down for all the windows. This is plastic. I wish it was aluminum mesh, especially for the price that we're at, with a medium-sized storage pocket that goes all the way in, with the large beverage holder and that carbon fiber in the door card. For the back seats, this is the opening that you have to fit 2 more with the cup holders and armrests down. A con to me though is this armrest is not long enough for somebody that's 6'3". That's my height, by the way. Fold that up for later. Third climate control, heated rear seats, and look at your charging ports that you got. Home plug, 2 USB ports, and you can irritate the passenger from the back. And I know my 3 kids would be doing this all day long to their mother while you're putting storage inside the net for the back seats. When you go Sport Prestige, you're gonna get this manual sunshade, contrast stitch here and here, so they do a good job, but then there's no carbon fiber. Well, you know what? There's some ASMR, and there it is, as well as that ambient lighting that'll come back into play, and it's about half the size of the storage pocket as the front. Sitting behind me, the seats are carved out, so that is definitely going to help me with some knee space. I have about 1.5 inches on both sides. As for headroom with a panel moonroof, I have at least 2 or 3 inches, so they do a good job there, but you can let me know the full dimensions in the comments. Sliding into the center, I have maybe 1/2 inch. And then with the seat moved, because I played with it, I got maybe 1 inch. Sharing butt, feet, leg, and shoulder space, and that's gonna be obvious. But the total space, you have about 18 inches, so it's actually not that bad if I had to sit in the middle, but just don't do that for me, because look at the headroom. I have maybe 1 inch. You can let me know in the comments. I'm 6'3", guys. I'm not gonna be sitting in the back. Let me sit in the front. It's pretty quick once you get over that turbo lag, because it does have a little bit of it, and I'm not trying to say a little bit, it actually has quite a bit of turbo lag. It takes you literally to about 2.5 to near 3 RPMs before this thing livens up. That's definitely going to be starting off with the cons. The auto start stop, you could turn that on and off, so I appreciate that. I do like that you have 2 different power options. It's just when you're going to this lower power option and you're going off the line, you're gonna feel a little bit, as well as in between lights if you have to mash on the gas. And one thing you also will notice throughout this review is when you change the driving mode select. It doesn't change the pedal feel, but it's gonna change the RPM. So watch now, I have it in Eco, it's gonna change pretty good. Put it into Comfort, it's gonna kinda do the same thing. Sport, look what it does. Ticks up the RPM. So it's not really doing anything in the sense of making the pedal feel different. It's just giving you a little bit more of going into the area where it's not gonna have that turbo lag so much. But you're still hovering at a low RPM, so in a day in and day out traffic, you can feel it. And I'm gonna show you that example right here. We're gonna slow down to about 40-ish, maybe 40 if we can. Now we're gonna floor it. And that's about 65 to 75% power on the pedal to get it motivated. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that if you were in a congested area, you're gonna feel it a little bit more so. As a daily use vehicle, it's practical, it's luxury. You're getting pretty much all the desirable features that you would need. Front and rear parking sensors, no 360-degree reverse camera, you have to go up the tier, no power or even a moonroof, which is just kind of crazy to me because why am I in a Genesis? I mean, why don't I just stick with the Hyundai brand? I mean, let me know your thoughts on that, because realistically, heated seats is fine to be standard. This is 2026. By now, every vehicle should be standard ventilated front seats and heated rear seats in tri-climate control settings. I don't even use the tri-climate control or even the dual climate control 99% of the time in my own vehicle. It's just the fact that I gotta pay more money and I'm already at over $51,000 for this. It's quiet, it's smooth, you sit up high enough. As for competition, it's really hard to say this is not the sweet spot, because if you go into the Germans, it's all plastic inside, all about technology. Here, you still get technology, but you get luxury, you get ambient lighting. The seats are a little bit more firm, and it's a leatherette. It's not a standard leather seat. You do have to go up the trim, and you could get Napa leather. But is this better than the 3.5T Sport Prestige? Now, if you get this with the Sport Prestige, you're gonna have pretty much the same interior amenities as the 3.5T. That's another reason why I went base trim with this vehicle, so that way you can see what you get as a base trim. Braking on the vehicle, you can stop on a dime, and I'm assuming it's gonna be about the same on the 3.5T, except underneath the hood is gonna be a little bit heavier. So the front overhang, I wanna see how the difference plays out on that. And as for the drive comfort, 19-inch wheels, it's obviously gonna be a little bit more smooth of a ride, standard all-wheel drive configuration, but let's see how it weighs up against the 3.5T. That was in Sport Plus. You don't have a Sport Plus when you go into the 4-cylinder turbocharged. And you're not gonna have that motivation that you're getting with this. 2 turbos, V6, it's gonna be a lot more athletic. You get road preview going here, which uses the camera in the front to keep the vehicle planted. And I know you probably saw me bouncing a little bit, but it's not going to do like this. That's what I mean by planted. Now we're gonna slow it down a little bit so you can see the difference in the lag. With a twin turbo V6 with 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque, it shouldn't be much. And it's motivated a lot more quick, and that's in comfort mode. Obviously, when you change the driving modes, it will change the RPM, because just to show you as an example, Sport ticks it up, Sport Plus ticks it up even more. So if you're driving it on a daily, just like the 4-cylinder, I would leave it in comfort and eco mode, unless I'm trying to weave in and out of traffic and maybe get a speeding ticket, because that's what this vehicle is really meant for. The sound deadening, it's about the same really. There's not a huge difference in that category. Upgraded wheels, I don't feel that much of a difference in the ride. And with the GV70, the suspension layout, whether you go to the base trim or this, both are going to be comfortable. So you're not really lacking in that department. If you are comparing it against competition, I mean, this is going to be a lot more money than the base trim. You could save about $20,000 going into the base 2.5 turbo for the GV70. And going against the other competition like the Germans, you're gonna have pretty decent savings, at least $2,000 to $5,000, considering the power that you're getting underneath it and all the amenities that's coming, not necessarily standard. You do have to option it, and that's why I put these two cars side to side. So you can see what Genesis gives you as a base trim and as a fully loaded trim, and telling you the in-between for the features in the specs that you're getting between the two. I personally would go to the 4-cylinder turbocharged only because of the savings that you're getting. I would not pick the base. I would go up one trim level so I feel like I'm actually getting a Genesis instead of an upgraded Hyundai. If I'm at a $70,000 price point, this by far is one of the best in class for what you're getting all around. It's hard for me to swallow that MSRP price, especially considering the color itself is an upgraded $600-ish, and then the few little add-ins that they already have, that's over $2,000. You can make this vehicle go up in price pretty quick. Safety features though, I mean, this is definitely the way to go because you got the blind spot view monitoring, which uses the cameras so you can see it in the gauge cluster. You got the frontal collision, the rear cross traffic alert, the rear braking. Obviously, you got the blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, and it goes for about 0.2 to 0.3 miles. Now, it's not something like a Mercedes, but overall, if you're looking for performance, you go this route. If you're looking for a savings and getting the luxury, you go the other. But let us know in the comments which way you would go. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out this next video right here.